Okay, guys, let's review another draft, see how I did. In this one here, I have the 11th pick out of 12 picks. Again, it's a sit and go, 12 players. Just playing for the end of season cash, no tournament here. Uh, in this one, the part I liked the most, I think it's my start to this draft. Uh, my favorite pick overall is probably this Wilson pick right here, just because I think I might like Wilson more than Puka, Brown, or Harrison. It's just that he goes a little later, and I'm just trying to make sure I get everyone. So I took Puka here since he was the highest rated based on ADP. Um, Taylor went early on this one, which made Puka drop a little bit. And then this guy took Brown and Harrison, which left me Wilson. So I kind of enjoyed this right here. Uh, just more so, I really like the way I kind of just hit the wide receivers to start in this draft. Took a little break here for QB. I don't know how I feel about Hurts here. This is well past his ADP in these DraftKings drafts. So when a QB's been going past their ADP, I consider him, especially someone this early, and knowing I might be able to get Smith on the way back. Um, so I don't mind it. It's just that I'm curious if there's something else I should be doing or could be doing. I'm starting to get a decent amount of Hurts, and I don't really want to be overweight on any of these quarterbacks for the most part. If they keep on falling later, I'll draft them more, I guess. But I don't want to just end up with like a bunch of Hurts and very little of the rest of these guys. So I'll start considering maybe letting Hurts go through the turn and then pick him on the way around or something like that, or whatever. But I like the beginning here, hitting wide receivers hard. Looking at the rest of the teams here, I think I definitely have the most firepower wide receiver compared to anyone, and hopefully that means something much more than this guy here who went 4 running backs in a row here. Looks like something I was drafted in the past. If you watched my video earlier on getting at least 5 wide receivers in the first 10 rounds, definitely accomplished that here, right? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the first 6 rounds, actually. So easy peasy as far as that goes. The part of the draft that I think I maybe have the biggest problem with is right here. Um, Took Ferguson here, well past where he usually goes. So I felt okay with that. Didn't correlate with anything, but whatever. I didn't. Actually, what I would really be thinking about doing is can I get God or not Godwin Goddard on this team? Actually, now I'm thinking about. So let's take a look at that. I'm just thinking about that right now. Where did Goddard go? Right here. And so if I don't take Ferguson here, can I project maybe Goddard coming back around? That's what I've done in some of these other drafts. Um, if we look here, we can see that he already had a tight end. 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 He had a tight end. He had 2. He had 1. Um, he had 1 in Njoku, and these guys didn't have any. So if I don't take Ferguson here, he does have to make it around the turn here, by the way, too. So there's a chance he takes Ferguson, and that kind of blows up the plan a little bit. But let's say, for example, I want to risk it. I don't take Ferguson here. That means there's Ferguson and Bowers that are probably going to go before Goddard goes. And so there's a chance that if I don't take Ferguson here, that and let's say he doesn't do anything right, that uh, Ferguson goes here, Bowers goes here, Goddard maybe gets picked up by this guy, right? So, but that's early actually for Goddard, I think. 8th round, uh, eighth round. This is kind of the right at ADP for Goddard or so, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right here. So if Goddard makes it past this team, he's probably coming back all the way around to me right here at the 9-11. I kind of like it if I can identify something different that I want to take instead. Um, let's see, what could I take instead of Ferguson? And I'll just look at kind of who was taken here. Um, I think I go probably Lad right here. And this actually was originally my least favorite pick, the Lad pick. But I think maybe my least favorite pick is the Ferguson pick, now that we're looking at it. Can I let Ferguson get through? If he does, what I would do is I take Lad right here. I would take a running back right here. And who cares which one? Harris, Warren, Moss, all fine picks, I think, for the most part, right here. Any of these guys. Take one of the running backs right here at the 8th round. And then Goedert probably makes it around to me right here. And I take Goedert. I lose out on Brian Thomas, who I probably lose out on Brian Thomas, right? Because this guy probably takes Thomas then, and I end up with Robinson here. So I would end up with um, McConkey, Goedert. Oh, sorry, McConkey. Let's just say Harris, since he um, was drafted next. McConkey, Harris, Goedert, and Robinson. So I have a slightly worse but correlated tight end. Um, I have the same wide receiver here, and I have a better running back one. I think that's the way to go. If I looked at it, okay. So yeah, the pick that I like the least is this Ferguson pick right here. I think I should have tried to push it around and see if I could get Goedert to fall. I think tight ends are the pick that you can push around the most, especially once you get past the best of them. Maybe even the best of them, but I've pushed around Kittle and I've pushed around Goedert before. Maybe you can keep on finding those opportunities to do that and find places to make sense out of that one. So there we go. That's my least favorite. Now let's compare our team to another team with a similar build. This team actually has the same build as my team right here. Up for debate who you like. I like my two more than his two. I think his two are both much riskier than mine for the most part. But if you like these two more, I wouldn't argue with you. I went Hurts right here. He continued his wide receivers with the third pick. I like what he did there with that pick. I'm fine with what I did with my pick too. I did mine because if on the way back around I could get a Smith. Um, I wonder if the sharper move is to take Smith here and then see if Hurts comes around. But I think based on how ADP was at the time, and I'm not sure if it's still there or not. I think based on ADP, Smith usually wouldn't be going this early. So I might have taken him slightly early compared to ADP, even when I take him right here, which is kind of crazy on some of these drafts compared to other sites from what I can see and hear, gather. He then got his first two running backs right here, while I continued down the wide receiver path. I think both are fine. I wouldn't take these guys this early personally. At least right now I'm not. But whatever, it's fine what he did with those two. If Jones makes his way back, I mean, like this is nitpicking a little bit, right? Like whatever. I might consider Jones if he made it over here, just because I'm not taking a lot of these guys, and you got to kind of have at some point in time where like if they make them far enough, will you take them or not? I think Jones here is what in this round somewhere is something I'd consider depending on how I built up the rest of the team. So I got no problem with Cook and Jones here. But I do think I have a problem with Stevenson right here. Let's see what he did. He's got 1, 2, 3, fourth with Brown. And then his fifth. Okay, so he's got 5 and 10, right? He's got the bare minimum as far as that goes. If we're going to stick with that as a minimum requirement. So he's got that, but I do think he went a little too running back heavy right here. I went a little running back light though, we said. So, we both made some mistakes. But actually, this is, I think, the difference. Like, instead of just saying running back heavy or running back light, this is the difference in my mind if we look at the top of the draft here. The difference for me is that let's just assume these are all pretty safe picks up here, or maybe slightly risky picks or risky picks, but like tremendous upside, like someone like Harrison or something like that. I feel Cook is pretty safe. I mean, like, I don't know how safe he is. You could argue he's pretty safe, but you could also argue he's not that safe. Tale of two sides of coin, right? Last year when they changed coordinators, but um, I'm pretty sure that Smith is pretty darn safe. I feel like Higgins is pretty darn safe. Jones, I don't think he's that safe, if you ask me. And then Brown and Allen, these are maybe at a different tier a little bit, but again, I just feel like you can maybe expect something more consistent here. But anyways, I think these first 6 picks for me, I kind of know what to expect for the most part, especially the first 5 picks. While for him, you don't know exactly as much to expect here. And then as we go down, I think we know what to expect from Ferguson. There's some debate whether he can kind of make it up here, but I don't think people expect him to go down here. So you know what to expect with Ferguson. Purdy, is he outplaying his capabilities these last couple of years, or is he going to keep it up? Who knows? It's debatable, I guess. I've taken him, but I don't know if I've taken him this early, especially on a team like this. Like, there's no reason to take him, if you ask me, but he took him. So again, I know what to expect with my players all the way through for the most part. I feel like I don't know what to expect from his players as much. Now, when we get here, again, I don't know what to expect from him. I don't expect it from mine either. I'm just, I guess, continuing to build out wide receivers, and this was my mistake over here, though, I think. Uh, but if we get down here, compare my running backs to his, I don't know exactly what to expect with mine, but I feel like there's a chance that we kind of split the difference here a little bit, and that his 2 running backs, of course, they can always outperform, but I think there's a better chance that his running backs don't perform as well. Maybe, prove that you should draft them a round or 2 later, and there's a chance that 1 or 2 of these guys here prove that maybe you should draft them a round or 2 earlier. But that's, I think, all I need to do to win against someone that's drafting a team like this is have the guys hit at the beginning, just as long as their guys are hitting their guys too, and then um, find some guys that get closer in projection compared to his guys, and then I win. So if that's a good assumption, then I feel really good about my team here compared to his team. Side note, if I do take the running back here, then I probably don't have to take Foreman right here, and I can do something different with this pick. What would I do with it? Do I take another wide receiver? I already got 8 on this team, so I don't know if that's the other thing, interesting thing too. Like, I already got 8 wide receivers. Um, do I take another tight end? Gesicki, Janu. I mean, I think they're both intriguing players. Maybe, and probably more definitely. I don't know if definitely, but yeah, more intriguing than Kraft. So do I take my 3rd tight end here instead? If I or am I down 1 wide receiver? I'm missing one wide receiver. So I could take another wide receiver here too instead. So instead of Foreman, I take Robinson. I haven't drafted him at all. He might be interesting if we just want to pick a person to draft. So there we go. We go and take Robinson instead of Foreman, and I feel good about that. really particularly feel great or bad about Foreman here. I think he actually though works out with this build. So if you change one thing, you never know what happens with the other ones. The reason Foreman works well with this build is because I kind of like this actually as far as the running back room goes. Robinson, hopefully at least sharing the load, maybe the one that gets most of the carries. Then I have Ford and Foreman. One of them is hopefully going to be carrying the work here for the Browns. So I kind of have two starting running backs, and then I have ideally, someone else kind of proves it later on in Dowdle, Chandler, Irving. I kind of feel like this team might. How many running backs does this team have? 6. I take that back. I think keeping Foreman is the right call here. In fact, I could see myself, instead of taking McMillan here, taking another running back. Instead of taking Bo Nix here, taking another, like one of these, taking another running back. Estime, he's falling now, but maybe instead of Bo Nix, I take Estime right here, CDH for the safety right here, or I take Bo Nix and then I take, yeah, there's not much left on these as far as that goes based on the players that are here. Of course, things have changed from when we started this draft. And that's kind of one of the natures of these slow drafts is things can change during the middle of the draft as we go along. But I do think I could use another running back on this team. The way to solve this is to get one of these guys here with this pick 100%. And the way to do that, the ideal way is either to not draft Ferguson, hope that Goedert comes around, or draft Ferguson and then just pass on McConkey and grab one of these. I think they're both okay ways to go here. And I like the idea of passing on Ferguson and trying to force Goedert around. I kind of like it. Maybe nervous about this guy taking it. I'll leave you on this note on this one. Actually, we're gonna look at I'll leave you on this note on this one as far as we're looking at the draft. I'm curious if you have, drafters that know what they're doing. I'd like to think I know what I'm doing, but maybe I don't. I'm curious if in this window right here, like 8 to 15, whoever has the most running backs drafted, are they putting themselves in the best position to win? I feel like there's something there as far as another concept goes. When we count it out, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think I should have had 5, right? I should have had 5 running backs in this little window here. How many rounds is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 rounds. And these 8, maybe you count that round in it too. I don't want to do it just for me though. But I do think this round kind of does count. You got Roshan Johnson, Pierce, maybe, Irving. So I could see these guys also getting pulled up into this round too eventually if something like this was thought of as a, like, you get five. That's maybe I coin it 5 running backs in the first 10. That's not me. That's something I've just read. But maybe it's 5 running backs in the middle third or something like that, right? Is it middle third? Yeah, middle third, something like that. Okay, let's go over to, where is it? It's right here. Let's go over and take a look at our team here. We can see that this is the average for the tournaments right here. This is for all of them. And you can see I got Puka basically at 80, at where my ADP, not the ADP, but of everyone, but like my ADP is. So at the best value, at my average value. Got him later, so that's why I took him, because he dropped. And then I took Smith a little bit earlier so I could pair him with Hurts. T. Higgins fell compared to where I've been able to get in the past. Allen was kind of where he was as I was trying to build out my wide receivers more. Ferguson, I guess I got at where I've gotten him in the past. That being said, this is well past the ADP, so I've only kind of taken him when he falls all the way down here. Uh, Lad, I drafted early. That's another sign that I should have done something here. Okay, so everything points to this section right here. Rounds, this would be rounds um, 7 and 8. Thomas, I took him because he was falling past, and I didn't know what else to do. But then I knew I had to kind of hit running backs here, so then I took Robinson earlier than usual. Ford fell a little bit. Took Dowdle earlier than usual, and then I still didn't have my second wide receiver, or I'm sorry, quarterback. He fell to me. I like when the quarterbacks fall to you. Didn't really pair with anything except for my um, running back. So it's not really exciting as far as that goes. A little early. Sinnott fell a lot in this one. I got too much Sinnott on my teams. I don't know why I drafted so much of him. That was dumb of me, I think. Well, who knows? We'll find out. But got him all late for the most part, but he's falling further, so could have been stupid. Bucky Irving right here, a little early again, but I got to build out my running backs as we've identified. Looking at this one, a little bit early again, and then I just took him because took Bo Nix here because I don't know if I can trust Watson, and I don't want to be stuck with just Hurts, and I felt that I could kind of go and just get a luxury pick here as a third QB. He should be starting this whole season, hopefully. So hopefully he helps increase my floor at the QB position. And then just finalized it with one last wide receiver and a tight end. Some people are saying some good things about McMillan, so kind of taking him late if I can get him in the 19th, 20th, maybe 18th or something like that. I don't know, 19th, 20th round if I can. And then I kind of put this together just to try to see the consistency as far as teams go. And you can see this is the one where I had the biggest pocket here of running backs out of all the teams. That's because I had the largest pocket right here of wide receivers. On the rest of the drafts, well, this one I did the same thing, right? Got T. Higgins right here on both of these too, which is nice. I like this team. I think as long as I do think I should have got a running back earlier. See, this one I here took Zach Moss earlier, so I knew what I was doing on this one, and I paired him with Derrick Henry. I think this one has, and then I got the two tight ends right here too. I think in some ways this one might be better as far as what to expect, right? This one might be better if some of these guys hit. So, and the sit and goes, I don't know which way is the right way to go. Let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.